In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to insert new pages into your proposal document after you've already merged it at the client. So here we are, having merged a proposal. We're in Microsoft Word. I have the navigation pane open. To begin, what I'm going to do is I always want to turn on my Show Hide feature. So on the Home tab, in the ribbon in the paragraph group. So here's our paragraph group. I'm going to click on the show hide symbol here, little paragraph symbol. And the reason I need to turn that on in order to insert pages is I need to clearly identify where these section breaks are so that I know that I'm inserting a page in the proper placement. So with the show hide turned on, I'm going to go ahead and maybe jump out to my property page. And let's say, for example, in my first example, I want to add on to the property section. So it's still going to be part of property, but maybe I have a whole new page that I want to add in where I'm listing some carrier forms and carrier language. If that's the case, the easiest way to add a new page with an existing section is to go to the end of that section as it is right now. So right before the section break, place your cursor before that, and then you're going to want to insert a new page break. So insert menu up at the top and page break. And the other option here, if you see the keyboard shortcut, is I could also do a control return or control enter. So if I click new page break and I scroll up, you can see, because show hide is turned on, I can see that I added a page break. And within the document now, I can just start creating some blank space here. If I had some text that maybe I'm copying from another document or from a web page or something of that nature, I can now type directly in here, and the text that I would type in here is still going to be in the property section of my proposal. So simply, if I want to continue utilizing the existing headers and footers, that's how I would do that. I simply go to the end of a section, insert a page break, and then insert or paste in the text that I wanted to create. And again, it's keeping that property continued header at the top. So let's say I have a different scenario. Let's say I want to manually create a page for professional liability or directors and officers or something of that nature. And I want to insert that maybe right after my crime coverage. So I'm going to go ahead and get towards the end of the crime page by clicking on the last section within there. And again, I can click at the end of the document here. And what I'm going to do is I need to create a new page, but I also, in the new page, don't want it to continue with the previous headers and footers. So I don't want it to read crime any longer. I'm going to want it to read something new. And in those instances, what we're going to do is we need to add in a new section break to start. So we're actually going to add in a section break first. So we're going to do section breaks are not on the insert menu. We're going to go to layout. Again, having clicked right before the existing section break, we're going to place our cursor there. On the Layout tab, we're going to go to Breaks in the Page Setup group, click that down arrow, and choose a section break of next page. So now you can see I have the section break that was there previously. I have another section break out here. But also notice that crime is still here as my header, just as it was if I had done the page break option. So what I need to do here is to follow this up, every one of these sections includes a first page header and then an all other pages header, if you will. So immediately following your section break, you're going to add in a page break. So we're going to go to Insert and insert a page break. So step 1 was inserting the section break. Step 2 is inserting the page break. So now you can see my new section that I've just created. It has a first page header where the title is on the upper left-hand side. It has the second page header where the title is on the right-hand side and it has the word continued. What I want to do now is I want to edit these headers in my new section. So I'm going to double click on the page to open up the header. And before typing anything here, what I need to do first is in the header and footer group at the top, I need to look on the navigation group and I'll notice that there is this link to previous section and it's already turned on. You can see it's kind of got a gray outline to it. So I'm simply going to click on it, which toggles that off. Now, if I take my mouse away, you can see that it's no longer highlighted in gray. I'm going to scroll down to the page 2 header and footer. When I click anywhere on this line, notice that that gray outline in the link to previous is turned on. So I'm going to click into that, pull my mouse away. I've just toggled that off. So what that means is I'm now free to change the text in the header and footer here, and it will not impact this previous header and footer. So to demonstrate, I'm going to change crime here, and we will make this say professional liability. And again, scrolling down, I'm on the page 2. So remember, each one of these sections has a different first page. So I don't want to get rid of the word continued there. So I'm going to type professional liability and get rid of that ampersand there. And now I have my new section titled Professional Liability continued if that's necessary. It may not be, but I want to make sure that it would work properly if it spanned 2 pages in this section. I'm going to click on the close header and footer. And at this point, I would simply paste in the text of the professional liability page or type in the text of the professional liability page. If I'm not going to need 2 pages for this, I can simply hit the delete key on my keyboard to make the page break go away. And now I still have professional liability. It would then move on to business auto. And if I scroll up, I can see that the crime is still intact. The other thing that I will need to do to finalize or finish this process out entirely is that I need to make sure that I create the proper entry for professional liability over here in my navigation pane and also into my table of contents. So if you remember from a previous video, I talked about how these entries are actually made. They cannot be tied to the words in the header of the page. So we have to cheat, if you will, and create a line of text at the top of the page that has the same wording. So professional, oops, if I could type that, professional liability. And once I have this typed on the page, I'm going to expand my styles group here, and I'm going to find the one that actually reads page title hidden. So I'm going to assign it a value of page title hidden. And when I do that, it turns the text white, so white on a white page, and it also makes the point size of that text 4, so it's really quite small, and it assigns it an outline level of 1, which now means it's in the navigation pane. And if I were to scroll all the way up to the top of my proposal and click within the table of contents, I hit the F9 key and I say I want to update the entire table. In doing so, what happens is right after crime, I've now got a page for professional liability. I control click to go to that, and I am in my new page.